Ian, I got one thing to say.
What's that?
Luke, Hall of
Yeah,
Famer, Hall
Hall
of
of
Famer,
Famer.
man.
First
Beyond
ballot.
deserving. So beyond deserving, man. It's short career, but made a statement in 7 years. What, how many years was it?
Eight, I believe. I
Eight,
mean, it
seven,
had to
eight.
be eight. He retired really early.
He did. Well, regardless, Luke is a Hall of Famer. Man, congrats to Luke Kuechly. Man, we got a good bit to cover today. A little bit of Hornets news and also some additional Panther news with our rookie Ted McMillan, Offensive Rookie of the Year. Congrats to him as well. Ian, you ready to get it going, man?
I'm ready, man.
All right, let's do it.
Touchdown, Carolina! You're listening to the Buzz Pound.
Smith scores, and the Carolina Panthers win in overtime.
A Queen City sports podcast covering your Charlotte Hornets and Carolina Panthers.
Halliburton, nowhere to go! LaMelo's done it! LaMelo's done it! Hornets win! Here comes LaMelo. And we're tied!
Here are your hosts, Ian Blair and Cam Gardner.
Buzzbound, thank you for joining us for season 2, episode 15 today. Ian, how you feeling, man?
Feeling good, man. How are you?
I am one happy camper as far as these Panthers go. Our guy Luke Kuechly is a Hall of Famer first ballot, beyond deserving. Man, it can't get any better right now. Honestly, it was a 2-1 kind of night. You got Luke and Ted McMillan. What you think overall?
Yeah, it was really good. I was a little bit surprised. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised that Luke was first ballot just because he did have a short career. But I mean, he was so good when he played. He's definitely deserving. I'm pleasantly surprised that he was first ballot. I was a little worried he would get left off, just because you never know with the Hall of Fame voters. You never know what they're gonna do, but he's very deserving. Short career, but man, he's legendary and fun to watch. He's one of the best linebackers I've ever watched play. He knew every play before it was coming. I mean, he watched hours and upon hours and hours of film, um, and he was one of the greatest of all time, in my opinion. So very, very happy.
Mount Rushmore for the Panthers. There's no question about it.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
he is up there. Short career, but again, made a strong statement. Man, 59, that jersey better be retired next because it's only two of them right now. It's just him and Pep in the Hall of Fame for the Panthers. So hopefully at some point we get Smitty, Agent 89, and we don't know if Cam will ever get in there, but hopefully we can at least retire that number one for him.
Yeah, yeah. I'm surprised Steve Smith isn't a Hall of Famer. It blows my mind a little bit. And obviously Julius Peppers is very much deserving as well. But it was good to get another Hall of Famer. Just legendary career. Drafted, I believe, in 2012. So really, I can't believe it was that long ago. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago that he was drafted, and now he's in the Hall of Fame. So
Hey man, congrats to him. He's a legend in our book forever. Always going to hold a special place. And my pick background photo today is one of my favorite moments of him. That 2015 Cowboy game when he got, I think it was two pick sixes, and this is one of them right here. Man, that guy was something else.
yeah, he was great.
Cam gave him the name Captain America. Some call him Clark Kent. He's all those combined to me. He was just a special guy overall.
Yeah, yeah, great game too. It was Thanksgiving, I believe,
Yep.
2015, and yeah, it was a special year overall. I think Kurt Coleman might have had the other pick six. I know Luke had one, but Kurt Coleman was a safety. I know he had a pick six in the game. But both our defense was just insane that year. I mean, it was one of the best defenses I've ever seen in the NFL, period. Um, just all those guys on that defense that played well, and a lot of people don't remember guys like Kurt Coleman or Charles Johnson, guys like that were so pivotal to that team in 2015, and Thomas Davis. Obviously, everybody knows Thomas Davis and Josh Norman that year, but that defense was just incredible. I mean, it was one of the most special defenses in NFL history, in my opinion. Fortunately or unfortunately, couldn't get it done in the Super Bowl, but still a legendary season. Only one regular season loss. and Cam MVP that year. It was just incredible.
Man, for the organization's sake, no year tops that one. That was just a special, special year and really unexpected to say the least. I mean, we didn't have that kind of success those years leading up to it, and that one just kind of came out of nowhere and seemed like it was the inevitable to get it done. But unfortunately, it was not in our favor. Peyton Manning went out and got him one final Super Bowl as he exited his career. So, and Von Miller could not be stopped that day. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
he single-handedly, defensively, made our offense just look like we didn't have a 15-1 season overall. So,
Yeah, he was eating our tackles alive that game.
man, unheard of. But honestly, overall, just happy for Keekly and hopefully more to come with him. He stays present with the organization. I know at one point he was a scout when he first retired. Not sure if he still has that role and not with the org, but regardless, still present and bleeds Panthers till the end. Hopefully maybe we'll see some more of him, maybe in media at some point, because his football IQ is still very strong. I know he shows up on I think the show is Hey K Adams or Good Morning with K Adams, one of those her show, whatever channel that is. But um man, he was a special guy coming out of Boston College. So and in other news, Ted McMillan, T Mac, Offensive Rookie of the Year. We called that one a while back. To me, it was really a no-brainer. The man has such a standout rookie year, and just think about what he brought his rookie year and what he can build on with us. I mean, he's just a special young cat. I like him a lot. I just think it's upward from here with him. I think he can only get better. This is not his limit.
Yeah, I agree. And hopefully, shout out to him for winning Rookie of the Year. Hopefully he improves from year one to year two. I mean, because have that breakout year, that would be special just to be like in the top five receivers in the league. I mean, you see like the jump that other guys had from year one to year two. I mean, it's really, he could be like a top five receiver in the league. You look at Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson, Jackson Smith and Jigba, those guys like that had a really big jump after they had a good rookie season like Tet did. But they had that really big jump in year two and year three to kind of solidify them as a top five receiver in the league. And, I think the sky's the limit for Tet. Really, really happy that he won Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think he's much deserving. He played really well. Was kind of that safety blanket for Bryce for pretty much the entire year. And kind of Bryce's go-to receiver. And really, ever since he came in the building, was kind of that wide receiver one with, Xavier Legette kind of having a bad sophomore season and not impressing very much his rookie year. And, Jalen Coker's still Jalen Coker. He's a great player, especially for an undrafted rookie or undrafted player, excuse me. But yeah, the sky's the limit for Tet, and hopefully him and Bryce continue to build that chemistry because I think they could be, a special combination in the next couple of years, especially with getting some pieces in free agency and through the draft to kind of solidify this team. I think we could definitely compete in the NFC South for years to come with how weak it is. And I think we're just going to improve from this year.
Absolutely, man. And you actually mentioned Xavier Leggett. This wasn't part of our topic list for the day, but did you by any chance see him on 4th and 1 with Cam over Super Bowl week?
I didn't. I know he's working with Chad Johnson, Chad Ochocinco in the offseason, which I think will be very beneficial for him. But I didn't see him on the 4th and 1 podcast.
Okay, yeah, him and Chad, which that was another thing too. That'll be a great mentor for him. Chad said he will get him right. We know what Chad Ochocinco was, not a Super Bowl champ, and honestly, not sure if the man will ever be a Hall of Famer, but he was very shifty and knew how to be a dynamic receiver in the league. But um, on 4th and 1 on Cam's show, he and Cam were talking, and Cam told him whenever he criticizes him and such, he's not downing the man. He wants to see the man win with the team. I mean, he's an alumni, obviously, of the Panthers, but he also advised for Xavier Leggett to lock in with his quarterback. And not just on the field, but he said like off the field, whether it's watching film together, because Cam made a good example that when watching film, him and Greg Olson, because obviously they were a dynamic duo together. That was all reliable, aka Thor for Cam. But Cam pretty much told him, lock in with your quarterback, watch film together, you know, develop a relationship outside of each Sunday and practices because that can go a long way. And also that can get you in the quarterback and sync on the field. Like maybe he's not looking Xavier's way as much as he's looking at a Coker and a Ted McMillan. And pretty much that summed up what he told him. And Xavier Liga even said he doesn't, lock in with Bryce Young the way he should. And to hear him actually say that, I was happy to hear some accountability there. So we'll see if they actually take part in that. That's what Cam Newton, recommended to him. So hopefully he at least listens to that because if there's anybody that he should listen to about that, I think it would be Cam being a alum of the organization.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I didn't know those words were said, but just depends on if he wants to be great. I'm glad he owned up and showed some accountability that he's not fully locked in with Bryce, which that's what the greats do. We just talked about on this podcast, the 2015 team. I mean, that team was it was a brotherhood, and you rarely see that in the NFL. Guys watching film together, guys hanging out outside of practices and games. I mean, you rarely see that in the NFL in general. Just because those guys are all professionals, you see that more with high school teams and, some college teams because that brotherhood feeling. Everybody in the NFL it's not really, and it's not all teams. There are teams like, that are like a brotherhood, but that's part of what makes teams successful. And in my opinion, Super Bowl contenders is that brotherhood that you develop and playing for one another and, sitting and watching film with your quarterback, kind of picking out what he sees on the field, what routes he likes, just nuances that, you know, that bonding with your quarterback will do, and getting to know him off the field and obviously hanging out with him outside of practices and games is important. Because ultimately, if you want to get the ball, you got to be friends with your quarterback, and you got to be, your quarterback's got to be comfortable with you. And I think that's important. Hopefully he wants to be great, and hopefully he's not just saying those things and actually will do them because it just depends on how great he wants to be in the league and if he wants to, have a successful NFL career. Because unfortunately, some guys in the NFL are just content with getting paid and, getting that paycheck and, you know, going home after practice and not putting in the extra work and relying a lot on physical talent because everybody has to be some type of talented to be in the league. But a lot of guys are just so physically talented they could rely on that, or at least think they could rely on that. Um, but watching film with your friend or with your teammates can really set you over the get you over the hump and make you one of the greatest.
Absolutely, man. I mean, all those things you just said applies to being a great, and hopefully he truly takes accountability into that and does something about it. Works with Chad Ochocinco, and I know one time, not the same episode, but was two different shows, but he was on what's the show? Nightcap with Shannon Sharp. They were talking about Xavier Leggett a little bit. And he said then, because this was like toward the end of the season, and he was telling Xavier to come work with him that summer. He'll get him right. He was telling him he definitely needs to change that diet, eating, raccoon and whatever other animals he hunts and eats. But hopefully it works for him because I feel like that's a great mentor. We know what Chad Ochocinco was, especially during his Bengals days. So hopefully some of that knowledge and wisdom can transfer to him. And maybe year three will be better for him if they don't, move on from him this summer. So in some other Panther news that I actually um, we didn't talk about this earlier. You may have saw it. Panthers have actually hired a new associate head coach and offensive specialist, Darrell Bevel, who is a 2013 Super Bowl champ. I will go over some of his resume here. Dating back from the year of 2000, he was a Green Bay Packers assistant quarterback coach from 2000 to 2002. He officially became the quarterback coach in 2003 to 2005 with the Green Bay Packers, Minnesota Vikings offensive coordinator 2006 to 2010, Seattle Seahawks offensive coordinator 2011 to 2017, Detroit Lions OC 2019-2020, Detroit Lions interim head coach 2020, Jaguars offensive coordinator 2021, Jacksonville Jaguars interim head coach 2021, and Miami Dolphins quarterback coach and passing game coordinator from 2022 to 2025. So, this is one of the official first moves within the Canales era that he was there for. What do you think about this move? Is this good, bad? What do you think it'll be beneficial or
Yeah, hopefully it'll be beneficial. I mean, he has a good resume. I don't know, I think we have a good staff. I don't know how much an associate head coach and kind of I mean, the passing game coordinator kind of goes into the game plan and everything, but he has a successful resume, excuse me. And hopefully, it gets us over the hump. If Mike McDaniel believes in him, I still think Mike McDaniel's a really good coach. I know the Dolphins weren't good the past couple of years, but I think Mike McDaniel's a good coach, and he's worked with some of the greats. He worked with Aaron Rodgers and some guys like that, so he definitely has a good resume. Hopefully, it'll show on the field. I don't know what the results on the field will look like one way or another, but good to add a guy with some experience and that's won a Super Bowl.
for sure? And he was a part of that Seahawks Super Bowl when they beat the Broncos in 2013. So that was a team he was a part of. Hopefully, like you said, it'll be a good fit for him, beneficial. Since Canales started taking control of offensive coordinating, so I'm sure he'll have a little fit in there with that. But we'll just see, man. It'll be interesting. It was kind of an interesting hire to me, but sounds promising if you ask me.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It sounds promising, and hopefully it'll, help Bryce develop, continue to develop, and you know, hope for the best. I mean, like I like it. Like I said, I like his resume. I think it looks good on paper, but hopefully we just have a better, more successful season than we did last year is all I really want.
Agreed. Um, we just hope to build on what we ended with. I mean, perfect way to end compared to the way they started, but we at least want to be able to advance next time. So, you ready to go into some basketball, man, with the Buzz Boys of ours?
Yeah, man, let's do it.
It's been an eventful past few days, I must say. Never would I have imagined Malice in the Palace would occur in Spectrum Center between the Hornets and the Detroit Pistons. Man, I saw that live. I know we were texting. I don't think you were watching the game, but I didn't even actually have the volume on. I had some music playing instead with the game on. And guess I was looking at my phone doing something, and I look up and I just see the court just filled with staff and players. I could tell it was a fight. And at first I couldn't tell who it was between, but man, Miles Bridges, Musa Diabate, Isaiah Stewart, and Jalen Duran. Musa Diabate more than anybody. Man, he was fuming. I mean, it took the whole staff and his own father to come out of the stands to grab him and get him off the court. I didn't know he had it in him personally. It was a sight to see. What were your thoughts overall about that whole catastrophe?
Yeah, it was crazy. I don't think I've ever seen the Hornets. I made a joke at work. I was like, that's the most fight I've seen the Hornets put up in my life. Um, but just joking about it, I was able to watch like every angle on X. I watched the highlights from the game on YouTube. Yeah, it was a crazy kind of just brawl. It was, I thought it was going to be over. Miles Bridges has still wants some, and then obviously Isaiah Stewart, who I think probably has a screw loose, comes off the bench and wants to fight too. So it was just crazy. And Musa, you just hate to see the suspensions. And I know we'll talk about who got which games. And I don't agree with some of the suspensions because I think Jalen Duran started. I mean, he shoved his whole palm into Musa's face, and only he was the least suspended player. So Doesn't make much sense to me because he's the one that started the fight. Yes, Musa reacted poorly and was kind of crazy and running around on the court, but it was just crazy, man. I knew once I saw Miles Bridges kind of like going to the side where there was less staff. I was like, oh no, this is gonna be bad going after Jalen Duran and or yeah, it was just crazy. And then of course Isaiah Stewart comes off the bench just wanting to fight. I've seen the clip. I know everybody on everything has seen has seen the clip and the memes of Isaiah Stewart like it taking like seven staff and he's just plowing through everybody, running through everybody. But that guy likes to fight, man. I think he should try out for the UFC or he's in the wrong career because man loves to fight. But it was wild. It sucks that we lost the game. Ultimately, the refs, from what I saw and read and watched on YouTube, the refs were really bad. I know Charles Lee got ejected as well, kind of standing up for his players. I think, good for him for, the ticky-tack foul on Grant Williams just jogging down the court. And the player kind of flopped and Grant Williams got called for the foul, but it was an eventful game, a really eventful game. And, it sucks to lose our 9-game winning streak on that game, but the Pistons are really good. I mean, Cade Cunningham's really good. He made some plays during that game. He was really lighting it up. And, as the time we're recording this podcast, I believe we're playing the Hawks, the Atlanta Hawks. So hopefully we get the win there, and kind of get another 9-game winning streak going. But we're in a good spot, obviously, in the play-in right now, which is huge. But this game tonight against the Hawks really is important, and especially for seeding and moving up in the play-in. So overall, I'm pleased with the Hornets the past 9 games. The longest win streak since way before me and you were born, I believe. So, which is pretty crazy. But it's great to see. I'm very pleased with the team. Besides the fighting, obviously, but that was just a crazy game against the Pistons.
Yeah, and I will say this, the Buzz Pound does not condone any violence whatsoever.
Yeah.
But I will say, kind of like yourself, I mean, that's the most fight I've seen in them in a while. I don't condone fighting. I know you don't either, but
Yeah.
I was happy to see that drive within the team. Like, as far as what's on the court, not the
Yeah.
fighting part. I am happy to see that they're on the court and actually serious with what they're trying to aim for and accomplish. I mean, and don't get that twisted, people. I'm not saying I like the fighting. I like the drive in the players more so than anything. I'm just getting that straight. I don't want anybody to get that twisted. But I know Stephen A. and Kendrick Perkins, they said the same thing. But I mean, like you said, Detroit, I mean, they are the number one seed in the East for a reason. Those guys are lethal and they show that they're physical. They're all of that. It reminds you of kind of what 90s or 80s basketball was, and you and I both weren't even born, but it was just a lot more rough back then. And a
Yeah.
lot of a
Yeah.
lot of people say they like seeing this because a lot of people say the NBA has gotten soft. That's a whole nother topic for another day, but it was wild, man. But like you, those 9 wins were everything we needed. I mean, we are currently, let me see, let me pull up our current. We're currently sitting at 25 and 29 at the 10th spot in the East. If we can get this win tonight, we will. Not sure if we will pass the Hawks, but we will have a chance to surpass the Hawks for that ninth spot because they are currently 26 and 29. You got the Heat that are at number 8 and with the 28-27. Orlando Magic at 7 with 28-24. Just seeing some of these other standings, man. I mean, if we can keep this momentum going, even if we lose one here and there, I mean, I still think we can increase our spot and actually get a real playoff spot. I won't mind playing as long as they can get past that this time, but the opportunity is there. And I mean, to me, there's no question about that. But I know we were talking about the suspensions earlier. Isaiah Stewart got 7 games. Miles Bridges got 4 games. Musa Diabate got 4 games, and Jalen Duran got 2. Like yourself, I don't know how much I agree with that one because it seemed like he was the one that really kicked off a lot of it. He's the one that mushed Musa Diabate in the face, and that's what really got things going. But it's interesting how they do these suspensions sometimes. But Charles Lee said in pregame earlier, we'll definitely see a lot more of Grant Williams and Tijon Salon with the absence of Bridges and Diabate both. So we'll see how that goes. They both were in the starting lineup today. So what are your thoughts overall as far as that goes and just these next foreseeable games coming up?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know how Jalen Duran got a 2 game suspension and Moose got a 4 game suspension. Doesn't really make much sense to me. Just because Jalen Duran instigated it, and he kind of started the whole thing. So I don't think Moose would have reacted the way he did if he wouldn't get smushed in the face, like you said. And Moose just was, in the heat of the moment like that, when you're a competitor, adrenaline's flowing, there's a lot of testosterone, and it's just you get emotional. And I know Moose had a kind of apology post on social media, but he just let his emotions get the best of him, and that happens sometimes in sports. I don't condone violence either. Unless it's UFC, I do enjoy watching UFC, but those are two both, trained fighters that have been training to fight each other. So NBA guys are not training to fight. There's a lot of other variables like coaches stepping in the way, and there's a lot of room for people to get hurt that don't, that are just trying to separate the fight. Um, and by, the most, when I say it's the most fight I've seen out of the Hornets and in my life, I mean, just the most, want to win the game, like just passion for their guys. And, Charles Lee showed a lot of passion in that game too, just standing up for his players. And it was kind of encouraging to see because it looked like the guys wanted to play for each other and fight for each other. And, Charles Lee getting ejected with a bad call, just him standing up for his players. And, he was putting his foot down to the bad calls in the game. And I think that gained the respect from some of his players. And I mean, if I was playing for him, he sure as heck would have gained my respect if he was standing up for, the guys on the court. Um, but yeah, this Hornets team is playing really well right now. And a lot like MLB season and baseball season, NBA season's kind of a game of runs. It depends. There's MLB teams that start off and can lose, 15, 20 games in a row or something like that, or go 1-14 and 15 games, and then heat up throughout another month in the season, be right in playoff because there's just so many games. So it's definitely important for the Hornets to just keep going, win one or two, three here before dropping a game, and kind of just build up, and build up through the standings. We're not going to win every game. I don't think we're going to go on a 9 game winning streak anytime soon. It'd be nice, but it's just so rare, especially for this team. But if we can go on a 3 or 4 game winning streak here and there, and only drop 1 or 2 games in between, that'd be really nice, and it would put us in a way better spot, as far as playoff seeding.
Absolutely. And a correction from something I said earlier. I mentioned Grant Williams and T. John Salon. Grant Williams did start. T. John Salon did not. It was Ryan Kalkbrenner that started tonight, along with LaMelo, Brandon Miller, and Knipple. But anyway, I agree with you. It's wild to even say we had 9 wins and then before we dropped another loss. So, like yourself, if we could get 3 wins and drop one, here and there like that, then that could still put us in good position. But we just got to make use of opportunity. I mean, this is the first time in a long time where the East is very, very open. Games like tonight, I got the game on. Currently, the Hornets are up 50-35 over the Atlanta Hawks. Got about 5 minutes left of the second quarter, so if they keep that up, I mean, it's wins like this that could get us to where we would like to be for a playoff spot.
Yes.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
it's, happy to see the guys still or coming off what happened the other night, without two pretty solid pieces. That's been part of the success. Hopefully they can still keep that momentum going and hold it down until those guys return.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree. We just got to keep building and hopefully get in a good spot. These next 3 games, well, 4 including the Hawks game, is going to be tough just because we're down 2 of our contributing players. But if we just got to find a way, we just got to find a way to get through this 4 game stretch and have everybody ready to play, and hopefully make that playoff push. Because I think with how everybody's playing right now, we can contend in the playoffs. I truly believe, even with how we played against the best team in the East. We were hanging with them for quite a long time, and kind of went on some runs where I thought we were gonna make a push and tie it and everything like that, but just weren't able to get it done. But I think this team could win a playoff series. Um, and might be unpopular opinion, but might be biased. But the way we've been playing recently, I think this team can win a playoff series. And who knows, we might go back to the old Hornets. I hope we don't. But we're just playing so well, and the team's fun to watch right now. And I think we're really competing. We're competing on defense. The guys look like they're playing for one another, which is important. And there's a really good, no pun intended, but there's a really good buzz around the city right now for the Hornets.
For sure. And I saw some clips on social media when folks were going into that game versus the Pistons, and the lines were actually long. And it's just like, this is what it takes to finally get people in the stands in Spectrum Center. Happy to see it, love to see it, but clearly shows we just got to keep, winning going. I mean, they got it right there. And I'm going to knock on some wood while I say this, but we haven't put this factor in there. Health. Everybody so far has been healthy. The team has been able to come out and do what they need to do. Knocking on wood again, because as I say that, somebody could easily go down with an ankle injury or something, especially our star player. But I'm gonna knock again.
I'm knocking too. I don't want anybody to hear it, but I'm knocking on the bottom of my desk right now.
Yeah, it's because we know clearly everybody can see what this team can be with health. And everybody's, eye to eye. And thing is, we still haven't even seen Kobe White yet. I keep forgetting we got him.
Yeah.
He won't play until after the All-Star break, but I think he'll be a fun scoring addition to the team.
Yeah. I think he'll be an upgrade from Colin Sexton, in my opinion.
Absolutely.
Colin Sexton's already been playing well with the Bulls. He's a good player. I just think Kobe White's a better player. He's younger too. He's a couple of years younger. Colin Sexton's 27, Kobe White's 25, I believe. So I think, and he's from the Carolinas. He's from this area. He played at UNC. So
Go Heels.
Yeah, I just think it's going to be a good addition to the team when he's back healthy. And I'm really excited, looking forward to having everybody back healthy. I think he'll be back maybe later this month. I was looking at a report where he's estimated by February 19th. I don't know how accurate that is. He might miss some more time, but hopefully we'll get him back within the next couple of weeks. And he'll be a huge addition to the team.
Let's hope so, man. Because we could use another scorer. So, but yeah, man, overall, pleased with the guys. Right now, the score is 51-45. Atlanta clearly went on a little scoring spree there, but about 2 minutes and 24 seconds going in the second half, about to go into halftime. Hopefully they can keep up what they got going momentum-wise and come out of halftime and can seal another win. And next game, we play the Rockets again. Hopefully we can beat them again. I feel like a team like that, though, would be a little more difficult without Diabate and Bridges, but our guys may surprise us a little bit, all we know.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you about ready to wrap it up?
Yeah, let's wrap this thing up, man.
All right. Well, Buzzpound, as always, we appreciate y'all joining us for season 2, episode 15. As always, you can follow us on both X and Instagram at Buzzpound Pod, and you can listen to our podcast on both Spotify and YouTube.
And as always, we are the Buzzpound. Keep pounding and keep the Hive mentality.
Right! Thanks for tuning in to this episode of the Buzzpound. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, and let us know what you thought of this episode. Until next time, this is the Buzzpound.